Oh, that's fucking adorable. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to That's Fucking Adorable, where I tell you real life stories. They gave me that response because I was in so much pain I didn't have anything else to say except for that. Today, we're going to be talking about some deals that we had where Mother Nature just destroyed the property. Now, this is inevitable. It's going to happen. It's part of being a real estate investor, but we've had some unique ones, and we've shared a couple of them. I shared the story about the vultures overtaking property. That I feel like I'm one of the very few people that's had vultures overtaking property and cause you months and months of holding costs and pain from what the damages they put on the property there. But today I'm going to give you 5 different stories. So we thought about making like individual videos of these stories, and I was like, dude, honestly, I just want to get them out. Let's just let everybody know about the different ones. So the first one goes all the way back to prior to us even knowing what wholesaling was. This is back when we were general contractors. It's the first flip that we ever did. So we actually bought the property from a wholesaler. We didn't know that that's what they were at the time. It was Net Worth Realty. We bought the property. This is in South Fort Worth. We did the work. My mom actually financed it. She purchased the property. We did the work, and then we were going to split the profit and the proceeds at the end. We did a complete, this house was gnarly. It had been smoked in. It needed a full cosmetic. We had to basically strip it, gut it, go all the way down to the studs, and then put everything back, which was fine because we were contractors at the time. So we got the work done relatively quickly. And then we finished, we cleaned it, we staged it, we got photos. Right before we were about to list the property to go live on the MLS with the realtor, monsoon rains here in Fort Worth, Texas. Okay. Just days and days of just torrential downpours. And because of that, our soil, when we get rain like that, the soil will expand. And then when the heat comes back, contract. And because of that, the foundation just went boop. Oh, it was devastating. For this to be our first ever flip that we had ever, attempted, and to be done with the work and with the foundation, when it did that, it caused damage to the plumbing. It caused damage to the tile, the drywall. So we had to get the foundation fixed, level the house, then have a plumbing test done, redo any cracked, broken pipes, then redo tile, the brand new tile that we had just installed, and then also fix the drywall and paint that we had just installed and done. So devastating. It was, a delay. It was obviously costly. We did end up getting the property sold, but it did impact our numbers. And just considering the fact that it was our first ever flip, it was just demoralizing is the best way to put it. So monsoon rains is the first Mother Nature event that really impacted one of our properties. The next one is a Hawaii flip. So a flip that we did on Maui. This was, again, torrential rains, but where this property set in Maui, it was essentially in the jungle. Okay. One of the buildings didn't even have a shower. It had like an outdoor shower to it. It was very rural, very unique property. Okay. It had 5 separate buildings on the one. It was like 1.5 acres of land. When we got the insurance on the property, we explained what it was, but it just, I guess there wasn't technically like a policy for like the ADUs and the 4 separate buildings on there in comparison to the actual resident. So, with it being in Hawaii, I wasn't that worried about it because, quite frankly, not a lot of weather can impact you in Hawaii. I mean, I guess the biggest concern that you'd be worried about would be like a tsunami. You don't get like hailstorms. You're not where we were on Maui. You're not worried about volcano. You're not going to get tornadoes. Hurricanes rarely hit out there. So it's just kind of a place that you don't really worry that much about property damage from Mother Nature, right? Well, again, torrential downpours came and caused a mudslide. And then when the mudslide happened, it caused a large tree to fall into one of the ADUs and just completely devastate it and wiped it out. I mean, it was gone. It was as if like 2x4s and shingles just got spread out all over our yard, and it was just the building was gone. And when we filed the claim on the insurance, we actually got denied because they said we did not get the right type of policy to cover that building. And so we just lost an entire unit. That one was devastating because it was like, well, we purchased it based off of the cash flow that was going to be coming for 5 different units, and to just lose a unit due to Mother Nature and then not even be able to recoup any cash, that one was pretty devastating. Okay. Now, staying on the islands, we're going to go to the Big Island in Hawaii. We had a property on Volcano Road. And several years ago, the volcano started to erupt again. Now, luckily for us, the volcano did not destroy our property, but it was a concern for several days where we actually thought that the volcano might actually impact that property, take it out. There were quite a few people that lost properties due to the volcano erupting again. That one was nerve-wracking because, again, we did not have volcano coverage. Why? Because I didn't even know that was a thing. I just thought, you get insurance and it's going to cover all of the things. No, there's a separate volcano coverage that you would need. And so that was nerve-wracking because we had already had this mudslide tree incident wipe out an ADU. And I was like, oh my God, now we're going to lose an entire house to a volcano. Luckily, that did not happen, okay? But it was still nerve-wracking. Now, let's move to Alaska. So we had several properties in Anchorage, Alaska. At one point in time, we were flipping pretty significantly in Alaska. So we owned, I believe, like 12 different units in at the time. And I think it was like a 9+ on the Richter scale earthquake hit Alaska. And every single one of our properties incurred damage from this pretty significantly, strong earthquake. And again, I just call me ignorant. I just didn't realize that earthquakes were a thing in Alaska. You hear about earthquakes in like California, but apparently earthquakes are fairly common in Alaska, and it caused quite a bit of damage. There were some properties that were further along in the rehab process, and we had to go back and do additional work to fix the damages from the earthquake, drywall damage, some structural repairs, some exterior repairs. Again, just another devastating thing that really you anticipate some of this stuff kind of happening. But when you're talking about like monsoon rains, mudslides, volcanoes, earthquakes, it's like, man, is this really happening? And a lot of this was happening like back to back to back. Like this is all in like the same time frame. It just felt like every different version of Mother Nature was coming after us during this exact same period of time. Now, this one isn't so much Mother Nature. I guess the actual end result of it is Mother Nature. But at this same time period, we had about 70 rental properties in St. Louis, Missouri. and this is over 4th of July weekend. Someone in one of our vacant properties that was still being rehabbed, someone shot a firework into the property, not on purpose. It was on accident. Well, I guess actually we don't know that. But someone shot a firework into the property, and the entire house burnt to a crisp down to the ground. Lost. Now, that one actually turned out beneficial for us because we did have the appropriate insurance coverage on the property, and we didn't owe that much on it. But I had gotten coverage for a lot more than what we owed on the property. So we actually profited off of that property burning down. And then we were able to just turn around and sell the lot. So that one actually turned out to be profitable in the end, but it was still just kind of a hassle, headache, having to go through the claim process, having to go through like talking to the fire department and the police department about what had happened. Then we want to file charges on the people or try to go after and find the people that shot the firework in. And then there was also an arson investigation to make sure that we did not commit arson on the property just to capture the insurance funds. So craziness all the way around. And again, why am I sharing this with you guys? Well, for two different reasons. One, each one of those scenarios forced me to say the thing, oh, that's fucking adorable. You know, firework in the house, volcano erupting right down the road from our property, 9.0 earthquake in Alaska, monsoon rains making a foundation fall, a tree falling during a mudslide and taking out of an ADU. Just crazy stuff can happen when you own properties as a real estate investor. So this is why I always say to people when they come to me with deals and they say, hey, you know, the numbers are tight on this. Dude, you always have to put your end buyer, that person that's going to take title to this property and own it, even if it's a short amount of time because they're going to fix and flip it. You always have to assume that, hey, there's a possibility that something terrible could go wrong with these deals. So be ultra conservative with your underwriting. Make sure you're accounting for the holding costs that go along with this, right? So they're getting the right kind of insurance coverage. Make sure that you're putting in enough rehab where if something were to go wrong, they can actually still complete the project. And then the second part of this is if you're going to take down properties yourself, have a great insurance agent on your team. Make sure you are having conversations with that agent about the coverage. Is it covering for all of the different natural disasters that can happen in this area? Is this going to cover any ADUs or additional buildings that you have on your plot of land? Because we felt the pain of not doing that, moving too fast, right? And just saying, hey, give me coverage on this property for this much. And then finding out, oh my goodness, the actual natural disaster that I needed coverage for is not covered. Okay. That can be just literally devastating to you and your business. So slow down. Make sure you have a great insurance agent on your team. Make sure you get the appropriate coverage so you don't feel some of the pain that I felt back in the day. All right. Let me know if you enjoyed this episode of, oh, that's fucking adorable. Let me know if you've had anything crazy happen to one of your properties by Mother Nature. Give me a like. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you.